Emerging markets could be the next big frontier for crypto. A slew of politicians want to follow El Salvador and adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. At the same time, Miami's mayor looks to woo Chinese Bitcoin miners with low energy prices and clean nuclear power. And the World Bank has rejected El Salvador's request for help on Bitcoin implementation. What do you guys think is more likely and the better place to focus on resources? Somewhere like Miami in the developed world that's looking to adopt mining and other things, or somewhere like El Salvador or the developing world that is looking to adopt Bitcoin? Let's, as well as we should talk about how they asked for help from the World Bank, which seems very strange. Justin Newton, you were actually there in El
Yeah,
Salvador. So let's go to you for some on the ground commentary. You were part of Brock Pierce's delegation. For what was it like? How did it go?
totally. Yeah, I'm happy to share a little bit about that. And first, I do want to say I'm excited about all the things that are happening in Miami as well. I think Mayor Suarez there is bringing some great energy to things and really doing the right things to try and engage and attract the industry. But I will say, if I was given one of the two to choose to focus on, it would be what's happening in El Salvador. For me, financial inclusion is a big reason that I got into crypto. Inclusion is a stepping stone to freedom. And so, from my perspective, the things that we can do that make Bitcoin more a part of people's day-to-day lives and get it into the hands of people that don't have access to traditional financial services, traditional banking, and those kinds of things. Like, that's why I got into the space, is to do that, to build innovation platforms and, to create that kind of change. Mining is awesome, but it's not quite that. It'll happen anyway. So, what's kind of happening in El Salvador and what was happening on the ground. So first of all, I'm really excited about the law. I think no law is perfect. And certainly I've seen some commentary on the internet around, things like requiring people to accept it or businesses to accept it, not people, but requiring business to accept it, and things like that do cause concern with some folks that are really focused on freedom and liberty. And I think that those can be reasonable objections to look at. But I do believe that overall the bill is real, or the law is really powerful and really important in that it recognizes Bitcoin as legal tender. It gives it the same standing side by side with USD for people that want to hold it, that want to spend it, that want to receive it. It's actually like the first time, literally, that cryptocurrency isn't being treated as a second-class currency. And so, from that perspective, it is super exciting. And, it's also very exciting that the government put a pretty short timeline on getting it done. If you remember, in the bill itself, it said the government has 90 days to get that enacted, which means there's about 80 days, actually exactly 80 days left now. And so, frequently governments will announce things and they never happen because they get studied to death without any forward motion. This feels like it's going to be different. I can tell you, so just stepping into the meetings a little bit, and, I'll talk about this stuff at a high level. Every single government official that we met with, one of the first things they mentioned to us was how many days are left before implementation. So it was really clear that across the senior levels of government, they are really focused on getting this done and getting this done successfully in a short period of time. Like, they're not acting as if the 90 days is like made up and it's just going to get pushed out and pushed out and pushed out. They're acting like the 90 days this is going to get done or they're not going to have a job anymore. And so, that was really exciting to see. I would say another thing that I saw there, which, I expected and we did see, was, they are clear that they don't have everything that they need in the country to be able to get this done in that time frame. And so they need the support of the crypto community, of the companies that are operating in the Bitcoin space, of the individuals that are operating in the Bitcoin space, to find the ways and places that they're going to be able to engage to help make this, a success. And so, it could be in helping with education. It could be with looking, if you're providing Bitcoin services, can you provide those services in El Salvador? And what are the things that you would need in order to make that happen? I know organizations like BitGive are doing fundraising around, helping to empower the El Salvadorian people to be able to properly utilize Bitcoin services. There's even stuff outside of traditional Bitcoin itself where they could use help, like better internet penetration, some better smartphone penetration and things like that. And so, there's a huge amount that needs to get done in a very short period of time. And all of us are going to need to pull together in order to make that happen. And then the last thing I would say, because I know I'm talking for a long time here in a pretty rapid fire meeting, is one of the things I was really excited to see in the meeting was, basically everybody that was there from both sides, whether it was the delegation or whether it was the people from government, were focused on the issue of how do we make this a success for El Salvador and the El Salvadorian people, and how do we make this a success for Bitcoin? And, I wouldn't, always say that I agreed with every word that came out of every person's mouth, but I definitely would say that every person that was there was trying to focus on creating a positive end result for the people of El Salvador and for Bitcoin, and trying to figure out how we can collaborate between the industry and the government to help make that success happen. And so, yeah, I guess that's maybe some of the high level.
Thanks so much, Justin. And we appreciate your first person perspective on being there and telling us what's going on. It's interesting to see. Dan, Eve, is Bitcoin more likely to succeed in El Salvador or somewhere like Miami in the developed world? Go ahead, Dan.
Well, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it, help the developed world. One of the things when I got into Bitcoin was that it was going to be a currency for the people, and it was going to help the unbanked. Obviously, they'd probably be a bit priced out of normal transactions now, but when Lightning infrastructure as that expands, it's as it is being rolled out in El Salvador. It's going to have that impact. So I'd like to see it have a positive impact on countries that need it. Miami, if it kicks off in Miami, big time, and Miami becomes a hub, then awesome, that's brilliant. But at the same time, I'd love to see the smaller countries. And coming from one of the smallest minorities on earth in Malta, I was hoping to that Malta, like central bank or whatever, would jump on it. I know they were trying to become, Muscat was trying to become the blockchain island or the Bitcoin island, and that never actually happened. So I think it would be a lot cooler if it was a small country. It's just a shame, that the World Bank have laid the slap down really for what it seems to be a silly reason, right? It's almost like you're saying. They're saying they don't want to help a country that wants a bit of help. I mean, isn't that what World Bank's for? Being a bit fair and nice and stuff. And if you were to say, if it was, I think the primary reason's down to their energy consumption. But then if the US military alone was a country, then it would be 40th ranking country of energy usage. So, and that's, where do you draw the line as to what is allowable energy wasting and pollutants? Where a lot of that's fuel usage, for example, in terms of military. So those are fumes that are actively going out. Whereas at least this energy comes from a lot from renewable sources. And even if it doesn't, it's from far more efficient factories that would, they fair enough, they pump out fumes, but on a more on a wider efficient, wider scale, it's more efficient than, say, the engine of a car or a tank that pumps out fumes. So it is a bit of a sad situation where the help isn't being offered, and it's not because of the environment. It's clearly because it's pocket lining. It's losing that control, and that unfortunately is what Bitcoin was built to unsettle. And it is unsettling it, and we're going to see hiccups like that. It wouldn't surprise me if, and dare I say it, we haven't had a sanction yet about the usage of Bitcoin, but that's that could come, and it could be a big annoying thing. But a lot of people are sat in paid pockets, and sanctions could well, if they're saying, right, we're not going to help El Salvador with this rollout, even just from a curiosity perspective, then sanctions could be next. It could be, right, well, we could have helped you, and you're going against our wishes, and therefore, we're going to sanction you, because screw it, we might as well pull the plug on everything. If and that's the thing. If this is infrastructure that could help people and help them survive as well. There's having a monetary system that works for the people it reduces stress a lot. It can prolong lives because it's there's less manipulation in the sort of inter-country currencies that could lead to hyperinflation and all sorts. So this is quite serious. It's not just money for the sake of it. It's infrastructure. It's what we live and breathe. People work all their lives to accumulate this money. So it's very important. So to lay the slap down on El Salvador, I say shame on you. Shame on you.